Come on, you son of a bitch. World speed record. We can do this. Sans, now's not a good time. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pass on that last one. Besides, I already covered an Undertale video on creepy and weird shit. And at this point, we'd basically be scraping at the bottom of the barrel and talking about theories and stuff. Oh, you're killing me, dude. What do you guys not understand about now is not a good time? You what? You didn't. What do you want, Flowey? Alright. If I promise to make another Undertale video, would you kindly make like a tree and leaf? God damn it, Sans, he didn't find that funny at all.
That's a wonderful idea.
Before we start, I just want to make it clear that this list does contain theories surrounding Undertale, as well as creations by the community that have become noteworthy. This doesn't in any way mean that they've necessarily been proven as canon or valid truths, unless otherwise explicitly stated by Toby Fox. I can already hear the comments screaming, Sans is Ness and Kara isn't evil. These are merely community observations, thoughts, and again, theories based on what can be seen from the actual game and its community. With that in mind, let's begin. There have been a lot of comments on my last Undertale video joking about how the fandom itself is creepy. I would certainly say that the fandom is passionate, so much so that fanfics and comic dubs can be found in abundance on the web, ranging from the cringy to the bizarre. And then there's Sixbones. We've already gone over how absolutely screwed up the concept of amalgamates found in the True Lab are, these souls of monsters fused together, doomed to suffer and confusion for the rest of existence. Naturally, someone thought to take two of Undertale's most beloved characters and throw them into a horrific what-if scenario. The result? Sixbones. There doesn't seem to be any official lore on Sixbones, however, based on the few short comics and illustrations depicting this fan creation, Sixbones is an amalgam of Sans and Papyrus. In this alternate universe, Papyrus is gravely injured and desperate to save his brother. Sans brings him to Alphys, who is conducting experiments that are rumored to save monsters from death. Alphys is reluctant to help, but Sans insists. She injects Papyrus with a liquid that is presumed to be determination, and not long after, Papyrus, while no longer dying, begins to feel strange. Sans desperately tries to calm his brother down as Papyrus begins to melt onto him, and they eventually fuse into one tragic being. This alternate version of Sans was created by Tumblr user Lover of Piggies, and depicts a reality in which Sans became an error in the game's code after a failed encounter at the end of a Genocide run. Having gone insane, Sans appears as an inverted version of his former self, and travels between alternate universes in the fan-dubbed Undertale Multiverse, determined to seek out and destroy all anomalies. That's a bit ironic, isn't it? Imagine this. You've 100% completed the game and you feel like traversing through the files. While looking through them, you find one called abc_123_a.ogg. Expecting some kind of unused sound clip, you open it, and instead you're greeted with this.
Hello, have some respect and don't spoil the game.
It's impossible to have mysteries nowadays.
Because of nosy people like you.
Please keep all of this between us.
If you post it online, I won't make any more secrets.
No one will be impressed.
It will be your fault.
Well, if that's not ominous and creepy, I'm not sure what is. These disoriented text-to-speech voices from FL Studio threatening you not to spoil the game aren't something you'd expect to find in the files of a typical game. But this is Undertale we're talking about, and since patch 1.001, the file just laughs at you. There seems to be a huge plot hole in the neutral ending. How did the protagonist cross the barrier if they lacked a monster soul? Flowey destroyed Asgore's soul, and there's no way that the protagonist is just keeping one on them from any other monster they may have killed. Except, there's nothing to indicate that the human left the underground at all. Sans calls them up and they don't pick up, so he just leaves a message. Also, if phone connections work anything like they do in our world, Sans probably wouldn't have been able to call the human's phone from the underground if they were in the overworld, leaving a heavy implication that the human died trapped underground. What exactly is Tem armor made of? Some players believe it's made out of Temmies, and some take it a step further and believe it's made out of living Temmies. Let that sink in. In a Genocide run, you can keep taking pieces of the snowman until he's reduced to a pile of snow, but he never becomes ash, not even after you eat his remains. But I suppose in that sense that makes you the creepy one. Creep. Apparently, since patch 1.001, there's a segment in the music files that, when run through a spectrograph, produces this image. Also, as of patch 1.001, it is possible for Gaster's encounter to trigger randomly, instead of having to go into the game files to re-add them. This already adds a layer of creepy that Gaster's somehow putting himself back into the game, but imagine playing through blind and running into the mysterious door in Waterfall, or the Gaster followers at the Hotline elevators. In fact, it might even be worse if you already knew about Gaster beforehand, since you'd know for a fact that you didn't edit your file. So you'd know he's not supposed to be there. It's almost as if he's starting to pull himself together, irrelevant of what you do. At first, Papyrus's comment about having a low follower count online and Metaton's comment about his low amount of viewers seems like funny jabs at how popular they think they are versus how they actually are. This doesn't really make sense though. Papyrus is a well-loved member of the community in Snowdin, and Metaton is supposed to be one of the biggest stars in the underground. But then, remember the war between the humans and the monsters and how so much of the land you travel is empty of life. Perhaps the war took the lives of more monsters than we thought. Going into the game files and adjusting the fun value can cause the gray monster kid to appear in Waterfall. He stands alone at the end of the boardwalk near where Undyne first throws spears at you. He doesn't say much, though what he does have to say is curious. Bringing him one of the umbrellas near the rain statue triggers a few extra lines that don't seem to add much to revealing who he is. Though many players speculate that it is a proxy of Gaster, based on his first few lines of mystery, as well as his similar color scheme to the cryptic Gaster followers. There's a trope known as the tomato in the mirror. It's the term used to describe a twist in any scenario where there's a self-reflective realization. For example, a lost man wanders around looking for help. He doesn't remember who or where he is, though for some reason, everyone he encounters runs away screaming. He then comes to remember who he is and realizes that he died a few days ago. So moving back to Undertale, throughout the game, there's something that you can't kill because of its inexplicable control over time. A being that can't manifest itself in the world but has the ability to assume control over a host vessel and use it as a tool to exert its influence in your world. Something that'll help solve all the problems your people face in one timeline and then murder you and all your friends in another, only to restore them all and ensure none of you will ever remember it happened. Something that acts entirely on its own system of morality and treats genocide as a method of alleviating its curiosity or maybe just boredom. Something that nobody can ever see or touch, yet is always present and aware of everything that's ever happened to it, even if its host body has been destroyed countless times. Sans calls it the anomaly, but what is it? You guessed it, it's you. The random encounter mechanic itself becomes terrifying in a no mercy run once you think about it. You know how the encounter rate slows exponentially the more monsters you kill? This means that you have to move more to get into the next fight. Now imagine it from the monster's point of view. You are actively chasing down the remaining monsters as they're fleeing in terror from an unseen serial killer, and they only fight when there's nowhere else to run, in a desperate attempt to buy the others some time. You may also notice that a few characters try and convince you to stop. What's creepy is the revelation that the fate of the characters and many of their interactions aren't addressed to the avatar you play as, whether you think it's Frisk or the fallen human. They are talking to you. Yes, you, the player, in the hopes of convincing you to abandon the run and start anew. You are the only one who can stop this horrible slaughter, and you need to do it before it's too late. Unless, of course, you mess with the save file, then you're fine. It's the revelation that you, the player, were the monster the whole time. And the comment of the week goes to Nathan Norse Baker, who commented on the last Undertale video about how dark the game can be. He says, "The dark parts are my favorite part. Not many games that I can think of where being bad was so realistic. It's funny to use that word on a game like this, but it realistically portrays how society would react to the typical gamer mindset of kill everything, loot, and repeat. Not only that, but the fact that the NPCs lecture you, demonize you, and even evacuate to avoid you in a genocide run really makes the point that you are the bad guy. Other games let you do bad things, but you're still the hero in the end. But Undertale sets the bosses up to the heroes, making heroic last stands against you. Not only that, but in the end of a Genocide run, it is revealed that you are not just some psychopath on a killing spree, but that you, the player, are like some sort of evil Lovecraftian god to the characters in the game, ending worlds for reasons beyond the comprehension of their inhabitants. All that, and your character becomes so evil by the end of it, it just stops listening. Very good insight. I couldn't have said it better myself. And that just about does it for this episode of Darkology, but here's some honorable mentions that didn't quite make the cut for one reason or another. Just don't. Just, if you care about your sanity, and I'm not kink shaming, you know, if that's your thing, it's all good, you know, as long as you're not hurting anybody. But yeah, those are down there. Those are just my personal opinion of what I find a little creepy. And then, you know, Frisk is a bit like, you're just, do you want to have, do you wish upon yourself to come in physical contact with a crummy juncture? Hey there, thanks for watching. If you like that video, be sure to let me know by slamming the thumbs up button down below, favoriting, and sharing. And hey, why not subscribe to my channel to catch the next video right when it comes out? The goal is currently 5,000 and we're nearly halfway there. Click the video on the left to watch 20 unsettling things in Donkey Kong Country, or hit the video on the right to go to the original 5 creepy things in Undertale. And last but not least, join me on Twitter to stay up to date with me and any upcoming videos that I might have for the channel. And if you're so inclined, I also have a Facebook page for the channel. If you'd like to stop by and hit me up with a like, I would greatly appreciate it. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next video.